Hey everyone in the YouTube world, my name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Welcome to my Flying Wheels YouTube channel. I own a car dealership and I have a car dealer's license. One of my most popular videos is how to get a dealer's license, or how I got a dealer's license at 23 with no money. So today's video is about types of dealer licenses. I have a retail dealer's license, which means I'm allowed to sell to the public. But a wholesale license is the easiest and least expensive of all dealer licenses to get. It gives you full access to the dealer auctions. It allows you to buy from dealers. It allows you to sell to dealers. Well, today I'm going to take you to the auction with me and explain to you what a wholesale license is and why you want it. Let's get going. Hey, so welcome to a dealer auction. You can see there are thousands of cars behind me, and all of these cars are going to run through today, and I'm going to buy some of them, I hope. And while we're at it, I'm going to explain to you how a wholesale dealer's license works, also why it's the easiest of all dealer licenses to get, and hopefully give you some tips on how to actually get it. So I'll start by saying that a dealer auction has very restricted access. Dealers only, you can only be a licensed dealer or accompany a licensed dealer to get into the auction. So once again, I have a retail dealer's license. Retail means I can sell retail, I can sell to the public. I can buy them at auction, I can buy them from the public, I can buy them from other dealers, and I can sell them to whoever I want. I basically have an all-access pass to do whatever I want nationwide, not just in my state. So I'm licensed in New Hampshire, I've been licensed in Florida. I can go across the country and buy cars and sell cars at any auction in the country with my retail license. Now, a wholesale license is strictly wholesale. It allows you to buy and sell wholesale from dealer to dealer only. You cannot sell to the public, but it gives you access to go into the dealer auctions, buy cars. You can register a few yourself. In my state, I think you can sell 5 in a year with a wholesale license, but I believe you need to title those cars in the business name. You can't just turn the title over like we do. So when dealers buy cars, typically we don't register them or title them in our names. There are reassignments on the back of the title that says dealer reassignment only. When you, as a public person, trade in your car, a private owner, trade in a car to a dealer, you sign the back as the seller. Then we sign it as a purchaser, and we can reassign it to whoever we sell it to, whether it's another person retail or whether it's another dealer at auction or wholesale. And that's the difference between having a license and not having a license. When you're selling unlicensed, you're doing it illegally. You're either not putting your name on the title and you're title skipping, which in a lot of states is a felony, or you're registering the car yourself, you're paying the taxes, you're paying the title fees, and then you're turning it over for someone new to purchase and title in their name. Well, we don't have to do that, so it saves us the time of going to the registry, titling a vehicle in our name. We just sign it over to the next purchaser. We as retail dealers can do that, and wholesale dealers are also allowed to do that as long as they're selling it to another dealer. Well, why would somebody want a wholesale license? Well, I'll tell you, number one, it's a lot easier to get. The requirements are fractional compared to what it takes to get a retail dealer's license. My father has a wholesale license and he does it from his home. He's licensed out of his house with very minimal requirements and hoops to jump. Still having full access to all the auctions nationwide, he can buy cars for himself to add to his collection, or he can buy cars that he wants to drive temporarily or keep temporarily and then resell them to other dealers. And there's still profit to be made selling wholesale from dealer to dealer. Why would I want to buy from one dealer and sell to the other? Well, there's money to be made still in the wholesale market. I can go out and buy cars off Craigslist, off Facebook Marketplace. I can go buy cars anywhere I want, from the public or from dealers, and I can have them reassigned to me and then bring them to the auction and try to sell them for a profit. I know a lot of dealers that make a great living just buying cars and reselling them wholesale to other dealers. They can either run it through auction, or they just know dealers in general that they'll call and say, hey, I have a car for sale. This is what I need to get for it. Would you be interested? Let's take this Corvette behind me, for example. Now, this is a really hot item right now, and the market's high on Corvettes. So we can go on Facebook Marketplace, we can go on Craigslist, we can buy Corvettes from all over the place, from the public, try to negotiate a good deal, and then bring it to the auction and sell it for a markup. And right now, a lot of toys are getting over retail at the auction, so there's no sense in even trying to sell your car on the retail market when you can get that or more just bringing it to the auction for a nice quick sale. I say nice quick sale because it really is. All I have to do is recon the car, meaning clean it, detail it, make it look good, bring it to the auction, represent it correctly, so announce any defaults, any defects in the car. That way you build yourself a name. That way people know who you are and they can trust buying from you. You don't want to lie, you don't want to clear check engine lights and run them through the auction. You want to be honest and create a good name for yourself. That way when you bring your cars through, they know you're selling nice inventory, which in turn brings more money for you. Now I say easy sale because it really is. As long as you bring the car and the title and you sell it at the auction that day, you get a check that day. So if I bought that Corvette yesterday for $11,500, I clean it at my shop, and then I bring it here and I sell it for $12,500, I give them the title. Guess what? I made $1,000 in a day on a Corvette. They cut you a check that day. No headaches and no recourse. Recourse meaning if something happens tomorrow, if something happens next week, nothing comes back on you. You don't have to finance anybody. The cars have to get paid that day. Everything's done and you get paid as well. Transaction complete. In most cases, obviously the margins aren't as high though. So you have to focus on the numbers and not the profit. So you make $1 million over time, not every time. So you can't be buying cars and then hoping to get $1,000 to $2,000 markup on every car that you run through the auction. That's not how it works. Maybe you make $500 on 10 cars and that's $5,000 in a day, and that's how wholesalers make their money. Now what about dealer plates? How do you transport your cars? Well, in New Hampshire, you do get a wholesale dealer's license plate. You are not allowed to use it for private use. So I can't go drive around leisurely in my cars on a wholesale license plate. They are only to drive from purchase to sale. So if you purchase it and you bring it back to your shop, if you bring it from your shop to the repair shop, if you bring it from your shop to the auction or the auction home, that's how you're allowed to use it. You can't be putting a wholesale dealer's license plate on a car that you're using leisurely as a daily driver. And then in some other states, like I think Florida does not issue wholesale plates to dealers. So that's the drawback of having a wholesale license in certain states. You don't get a dealer's license plate. Well, what is a dealer's license plate? A dealer's license plate is something that I can put on any vehicle that my dealership owns. I don't have to register them. So I can take this Toyota home today if I bought it. I can drive this Volkswagen tomorrow if I own it. I can just take the plate off each car and put them on every other car that I own to drive them from place to place. Check with your state's requirements, check with your state's laws on what's allowed though. And a lot of times you can hunt down a deal at one auction. Say the car was misrepresented, say you found something that nobody else found, or you know something about a car that nobody else knows. You might be able to get it a little bit cheaper at this auction, and then tomorrow there'll be another auction that you can run it through and make a profit there. So you can buy at one auction and sell it at another auction for profit. Or I can buy it here, fix it, clean it, and bring it back next week and hopefully make a profit that way as well. So I'm gonna take you into the auction with me and show you how the lanes work. Here are the auction lanes. It goes from A to F. There are bank repos, there are dealer trade-ins, there are wholesale units from other car dealers. So there are apps that dealers get to use that I can scan the VIN on every single car, and it basically tells me what dealers are paying on average for that vehicle with that mileage all around the country. I'm going to use this Porsche Panamera, for example. It's a 2010 with 54,000 miles. I spilled my green tea on it, but I know that this 2010 Porsche Panamera is worth around $25K. That's what dealers are paying. Now, I found some flaws with it, so I'd like to pay around $20.5. And if I can fix it, I should be able to sell it at auction for around $25,000. One owner, one accident, so I'm going to go see what it sells for. So it's at $23,000 already. I was the high bidder at $23,200. He wanted $26,000. I said I'd do $23,500. I was also the high bidder on that last week at $22,000. So I've come up significantly more. Now I know if I can give that car just a buff, I should be able to sell that thing for around $25,000. So there's, after auction fees, there's about $1,000 profit on that car. Now, it's not really worth spending $25,000 to make $1,000. I could probably retail that car for significantly more. I'm talking $28,000, $29,000. So now you can see that profit margin on retail versus wholesale. Hey, so the auction is over and we are delivering cars back to my shop. I bought this gem right here, a 2014 Chevy Silverado, one owner, no accidents. Now I can scan the VIN like I mentioned before, and it comes up with an MMR, a Manheim Market Report. And that is basically an average of what trucks like this have sold in the past 30 days at auction. So I know basically what they're selling for, so I know I should be paying that, or dealers are at least paying that in the past 30 days. So obviously if I'm wholesaling cars, I want to be far below that number. MMR on that truck is $12,150. I paid $8,800 on it. So now I know there's roughly $3,000 of play that I should get. So even if I mark it up another $1,000 and I get just under 10 grand at auction, I'll make $1,000 and still leave enough juice in the fruit to squeeze for the next dealer. Now the market is absolutely insane right now. Dealers are paying astronomical prices for cars, so you really have to work hard to find a deal. So I had made a video the other day that says I'm done buying cars because people are spending too much money. Well, my job is to buy and sell cars, so I'm going to continue to buy and sell cars. I sold 6 wholesale this week, so you just have to hunt harder. So I started looking harder for cars to sell that I know roughly what they're going to sell for, and I can wholesale them to other dealers because they're paying close to retail for cars. So this week I sold this 69 Nova. I paid $4,500 for it, and then I sold it at another auction a week later for $6,500. I sold this Expedition. I took it in trade for $1,000 and I sold it at auction for $2,000. Now the other thing wholesalers can do is buy cars that need work, fix them, and then sell them. For example, I bought this 2015 GMC Yukon Denali, and the bumper was all smashed up and it was running really rough. So the first thing I did when it arrived was take it to the Chevy dealer, and I just said, go through it, tell me what it needs. They did all 8 fuel injectors. It was like $1,600. And then I bought a new bumper that's being painted. Now I know that car is going to sell for around $20,000. So I have to take into consideration, all right, what's an engine going to cost me? What's an engine repair going to cost me? What's a bumper cost me when I purchase it? And then take that into consideration of the purchase price. So now if I have all the money into it, I do the fuel injectors, I do the bumper, I'm going to be into it for about $3,000. I paid 15, so I'll be into it for 18 to make 20. Now it's the same thing with this Camaro. I just wholesaled this week and I made about $2,000 on it. But wholesalers can't generally expect to just buy a car and flip it in the same condition it's in and make money at the auction. It doesn't work that way. So I bought this 2013 Camaro at 2SS with 106,000 miles, had a cylinder misfire. Now I was hoping it was just coil and plug, but I was expecting it to not be. It wasn't. It was lifters and it was a whole bunch of work. So so when this arrived, went straight to the Chevy dealer again. I had them go through it. $2,800 later, the car runs perfectly. Then we detailed it here, paid $9,800 for it. I spent $3,000 on it, so I'm into it for $12,000, and it sold at auction again for $14,000. So I made $2,000, putting a little legwork into this one and flipping it back wholesale. Now I'm going to give you all the examples I use when I'm turning things wholesale or when I'm selling things wholesale. I bought this 2009 Jeep Wrangler. It needed an engine. Now, if you saw my recent videos on Jeep Wranglers are expensive. There is no such thing as a cheap Jeep. So what did I do? I bought an engine. I paid short money for the Jeep. We took out the old engine, put in a brand new engine. Now I have a Jeep Wrangler that I paid short money for because it needed an engine that I can resell with a brand new engine and make some money. Now I can wholesale that at the auction because Jeep Wranglers get crazy money at the auction. So let's go back to this truck right here. This 2014 Chevy Silverado is an awesome looking truck, but it's ugly with those racks and boxes on it. So it's a one owner, it's no accidents, but it's kind of ugly and work truck. It has 200,000 miles on it, but I know from reading the history that one owner, no accidents, and work racks on it. It was probably driven like a contractor probably drove it regularly, all highway miles, because the truck is absolutely mint. So all I'm gonna do is clean it up, remove the boxes, remove the racks, sell them both separately, and then wholesale this truck for a profit. So we're back at the auction, started pouring on us. I'll show you a couple of the cars that I bought today, how I got my prices, and what I expect I should sell them for. So this is an 07 Chevy Avalanche LTZ. I paid $8,000 for them. Now I know I've sold a bunch of these for $12,000. That's after repairs. So I'm going to have $1,000 to $2,000 into repairs if I want to retail. And retail means sell it to the public. I know by looking at the numbers that I can wholesale this. I can sell it to another dealer for $85,000 to $9,000. So if I sell it for $9,000, I should be able to make $1,000 just wholesaling. Now this is a 2011 Ford F-150 Crew Cab XLT with 141,000 miles. I also paid right around $8,000 for this one. I just sold a 2010 STX, which is like their base model, with 152,000 miles for $10,000, like with no problem. So I know right off the bat, if I want to retail this thing, I can sell it for $10,000. But realistically, I know that it's worth more. So if I'm going to retail it and put the time and money into it, I'm going to try to get all the money for it. But if I want to wholesale it, I can just clean it up, make it look presentable, run it through auction for a smaller profit. And I bought one more car, but I'm not going to show you what it is. You're going to have to follow me You're gonna have to watch my final R8 video to see what my other car is that I bought. So like I said, to get a wholesale license is a little bit easier. There's a lot less hoops to jump through. You can do it from your own house in most states. Retail license, I need a lot. I need special insurance. There's a specified size building you need to have a retail license. There's all kinds of stipulations. Wholesale's a lot less strict because you're only selling dealer to dealer. Now's the magic. How do you get a wholesale license? Well, call your state DMV or RMV and ask for the dealer desk. Almost every state has a dealer department, and they'll give you the requirements and tell you how to get started from there. It's pretty simple. If you ever want to get into this business, getting a wholesale license is the easiest way to start. Guys, I hope this video was informative. I have a course coming out soon because a lot of people have asked me how to get a dealer's license, how to sell cars. I have one coming out, so make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll give you all my tips and tricks for free on this channel, so make sure to subscribe, and then stay tuned for a course coming out to teach you how to do what I do. I'll see y'all later. Adios.